Why is it that some of the sci-fi films we love the most are considered some of the worst sci-fi films? Some of the box office bombs. Some of the worst ones we've ever seen.
That's a good question. Because is it a matter of, like, people don't understand sci-fi movies? Maybe?
I don't know. Maybe there's something about them that still we connect with?
Some of us, like, nerds connect with, and then the other populace doesn't, maybe. And that's why they bomb.
So today, join us as we talk about our favorite Sci-fi B movies ever, right after this.
Welcome to Whiskey Pop. I'm Zane.
I'm Jeff.
And today we're talking about
the best sci-fi B movies ever.
Yeah. So I say we do a real quick definition because B movie has changed. Like what that really is.
It changed a lot. So like back in the 40s and 50s, B movies were those movies that were made at a way low budget.
Yeah.
They didn't come from like the major studio didn't make it. Usually they were done by independents trying to come into the studio to get their stuff shown.
The actors were sometimes part-time. They weren't career actors.
Yeah. Not as much money was thrown into it, so not as much on the sets and the acting. All that was bad. Nowadays...
So what do we call B movies?
I mean, nowadays for us, B movies, it's more of that. And so there's some really bad B movies, but they had huge budgets.
Right.
And so it's not just that. Sometimes it has to do with the acting. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it... Something's just missing, that extra little spark to make it a major motion picture. So these are not going to be in any order because it's really hard to put these in some kind of order. So I think we're just going to run through them.
Okay, sounds good.
But before we do that,
are we
first thing
something?
We should probably do is pour some whiskey.
Okay, now this is whiskey that unfortunately we've both had.
Oh, not unfortunate. Not unfortunate.
Well, it would be fun for everyone to see us be amazed.
That's true. What are we having though?
But we're having Early Times.
Early Times. Now, this is a really good whiskey. And it's really cheap.
Yes, this is underrated. And to prove how underrated it is, can I just open it right here for everybody?
Yeah, let's open this one. I've had it so many times. Oh, yeah.
It's just really good.
It's really sweet. A lot of caramel. A lot of butterscotch in there. But also, I love how you can get some of that shortbread in there. And I think some people say sometimes it tastes a little bit of oatmeal in it.
It definitely has that. You want to meal it around a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. At 100 proof, it's not like smack you really hard or anything like that.
No,
You'd think it would. But there's a lot of sweetness in there.
But it still feels... and tastes like a really good traditional bourbon. Like they're not trying to slip one by you.
No. And like I said, there's some complexity to it, but it's not like, hey, we're going to try to make you find 15 different flavors in the bottle.
My prediction is this is going to come with a cork and the price is going to go up.
And I think everybody's saying that.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen.
I think this is the Buffalo Trace of now.
Yeah, very well.
So when Buffalo Trace came out, everybody jumped on it, and then everybody got bougie buying Buffalo Trace. I think Early Times is the next one.
It very well could be.
And so I suspect if you find it in your stores, start buying it because eventually you won't be finding it any more often than you do Blands.
So let's talk.
All right, so our
top 10.
First one, off the bat.
These are first right off the bat. These aren't in a particular order though, right?
These are our favorite, period.
These are, okay.
Okay, so first one.
And we want you to watch these, to be clear.
Oh yeah, please do, because we'll probably watch them again soon.
So the first one is The Last Starfighter.
Oh my gosh, I love this movie.
It's great.
I so would love for them to reinvent this franchise and do it again.
Yeah, there's so
I know
many
I
ways
don't
they
say
can
that
do it.
very often with most 80s films, but this was just one of those really cool 80s films. It just, I don't know, the idea of playing a video game to train to become a starfighter.
And that was what qualified him to start his whole quest.
Yeah.
Centauri shows up. takes him to be a starfighter, and literally,
Now, it's kind of B movie-ish.
No, it is straight up B movie.
I mean, there's a lot of really bad lines in this film.
Very bad. I mean, what is it? Yolanda, baby.
Yeah.
And then he's like...
Well, what's the guy that helps him do repairs around the trailer park?
That's Otis.
The old Otis, right?
Yeah.
He's got some of the worst lines in any movie ever.
And he tells his brother, he's like, something like, "Shut up and go back to sleep, Lewis, or I'm going to tell Mom about your Playboy."
Yeah.
And it's like this little kid, he's like,
that's right.
Supposed to be like 11 or like 9 or something. He's got Playboy bags.
So I mean, it's a great sci-fi film, and I think if I remember right, it was one of the first times we got to see 3D computer graphics of a spaceship.
You know what? That very well could be, because that actually is definitely
it's
noticeable for our eye today.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a CG graphic that we ever seen it in a sci-fi film. I think it was the first one. So
very well could be.
Okay, so our next one. This one's really good too. I mean,
yeah. I think this one is a sleeper, and I think you should get you and your parents. It doesn't matter how old they are.
Yeah, sit
down and watch this next one.
This one is Enemy Mine.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, that's Lou Gossett Jr., right?
Yeah,
the same guy from Iron Eagle.
And the famous Quaid.
That's right. That's Dennis.
And for the record, I don't think Randy is just totally off the charts.
No.
Okay, anyway, that's neither. But this movie is a feel-good sci-fi movie, is the best way to describe it, but it actually has very decent writing.
Oh no, I think so, and it really hits you in places where you don't expect.
Yes.
So this basically it's a human and an alien race who are their enemies. They're pitted and stuck together, and they're stuck on this planet.
This planet is just trying to kill them.
They can't leave, and so now they got to try to not kill each other so they can survive.
That's right.
And it's just a really good story. It forces what happens when you have to deal with your enemy in a human aspect.
Right, and like I said, it's a great idea. It's a great concept.
Oh yeah.
And for a B movie, it's well done.
Yeah,
very well done.
And it's funny because I always feel like the alien in this is very similar to the alien in Last Starfighter.
Oh yeah, they're similar. Yeah, I guess
they're very similar.
They probably did the same kind of makeup and work.
But they're very similar.
Yeah.
So, okay, so our next one, I know you love this movie.
Okay, so tell me, what is our next movie?
Our next movie is Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not like any movie that its entire soundtrack is written by
Queen?
It's
great. Now, of course it's going to be great. They actually made a pinball machine about it. So it's got to be that good.
It's got a huge cult following. So it bombed drastically at the movie theater. You would think anything that Queen touched back then would have been beautiful in like 1980.
Right.
But not so with this one. And I heard that there was a ton of casting issues with this movie to get-go.
Well, let's be fair. When I'm objectively watching the movie, I know it's terrible.
It's bad.
It's really bad. But there's something about it that's endearing and makes you want to watch it again over and over.
I think it's the colors. It's the music. It's just the idea of you getting behind the hero. You know what I mean? I think there's just so many little things about it that makes it fun. I mean, it's definitely probably not as good as some of the fantasy serials from the black and whites from.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. But this one, it fits what we're talking about.
I think
it does.
Okay, so our next movie.
Okay.
I really love this movie.
Now, Jeffrey, you're going to have to talk about its budget here in a minute.
Oh, yeah. we got
to compare its budget.
This is why you can't take low budget as a B movie.
Okay. When you say sci-fi fantasy, this is the top movie.
Sci-fi fantasy for sure.
Sci-fi fantasy.
So, especially in the 80s. So, okay, so the movie we're talking about today is?
Krull.
That's right. So if you haven't seen Krull, I mean, you're missing out.
Yeah, you're missing out.
And it's a bad movie, too. But let's understand that. Okay, so it's a movie that kind of looks like a fantasy movie with knights, but they're shooting lasers.
Yes.
And a spaceship shows up with a bad guy in it, but it's more like a beast, like a dragonish kind of character.
Right. There's creatures from mythology, Cyclops.
And they ride horses, but the horses... fire flames come out of their hooves. I mean,
it's ridiculous.
There's wizards, but the wizards are able to shoot lasers and stuff. So it's a space fantasy. I mean, even the knights that are in it look like they're wearing space suits.
Don't forget the gimmick weapon.
Oh yeah, they're talking about the
what's it called?
The glaive.
The glaive. All I gotta say is
oh, man.
Okay, We should have mentioned that on the last episode about items.
The glaive would have been pretty. Fingers would be missing from the glaive. I mean,
but the glaive was badass. I'm sorry, it was cool.
It was a really good weapon. I have to agree. But here's the deal. Okay, so in 1985, when this movie was made, Star Wars had already come out, right?
Right.
So Return of the Jedi cost $36 million to make.
$36 million. Return of the Jedi.
2 years later, now budgets didn't increase that greatly. It cost $50 million to make Krull.
My God! This is like comparing apples to oranges in the finished product.
Oh, completely.
It had $20 million extra dollars,
and it still didn't do well at the theater, and it still is a B movie.
Oh my God!
So I mean, it's proof that low budget does not necessarily state that it's going to be, a bad movie, a B movie.
Right.
Or a high budget is going to mean it's going to be a great movie. Right. So, all right. So our next movie, we're going to dig back on this one.
Okay. Yeah.
This one's an oldie.
Right.
Back in the 70s, they made a movie based on, I think that's a Ray Bradbury book, isn't it?
I would have to double check.
Here, let's tell them what it is. Maybe we can.
It's Logan's Run.
Logan's Run, right?
Yeah. Now, this is a great idea of, when you're living in that
dystopian perfect future.
That society where everyone stays young and you just live off, and you don't have any worries. And then you find out that that's all not true.
But you find out by accident.
Yeah. And so the whole movie is a flip on the head of what a society norm is to be.
Yeah, so like in Logan's Run, the premise, without giving too much spoiler away, is the idea is once you hit 30, you enter into this new realm and it takes you to the next level of your living. What it really does is it euthanizes everybody over the age of 30.
After 30.
And so that's why. And so they find out in the film very early on, that's how the film gets started, that this is what's happening. So now they're on the run because they're 30.
Yeah.
They don't want to die. So, I mean, it's just a really good sci-fi film. It is a B movie.
It is a very B movie, but it is fun to watch. And I don't think it'd be like one of those you're like, well, that's the worst movie I ever saw.
No, it's not the worst movie you ever saw.
No, not even close. So.
But this next movie might be one of the worst movies you ever saw.
But it's iconic in the fact that
oh gosh, yeah,
it has changed our cultural. Like, there's things from it, let's say, that we know. And
well, the thing is, it's almost like an art film now.
You know what?
It's used to explain society now.
You would sit in a college course.
And they would study this, right?
Yes, they would.
So the movie we're talking about is
They Live.
They Live.
Yeah.
I mean, this was, as far as B movies goes, this was B movie actors, like an ex-wrestler, and then I think, what's his name? David, that does the voice for Gargoyles, and
yes,
and he's been in like what was that cowboy western where he played the.
His name's right here.
Yeah, I'll remember here in a minute. We'll put it right here.
Yeah,
but anyway,
down here.
But these were B movie actors even.
So They Live. That's the movie where the guy puts the glasses on.
Yeah.
He can see what really is going on.
Yeah. So like all the billboards tell you what to do.
To obey.
Yeah.
We're talking. This is a societal.
Yeah.
This is like relevant.
Yeah, it is today.
It is relevant.
Even more so today. I mean, I see tons of artists who'll use the They Live creatures for a lot of their artwork and stuff. I think even there's a famous artist right now who's using it to do billboards.
I mean, I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum.
And I'm all out of bubble gum.
All out of bubble gum.
That's from this crappy movie, They Live.
That's right.
And there's so many different versions of that same saying that people are using.
That's true. And it's been used for years and years.
Yeah.
And it is, you should see it. I mean, it's a good sci-fi film.
Yeah. So what's the next one?
So the next one. This one we were on the fence with because we know for us it's a really near and dear. And we've already told people to watch it already.
Okay.
But now we're telling them to watch it because it's one of the best sci-fi B movies ever. Even though you and I have a hard time saying this is a B movie.
Yeah.
So that movie would be Serenity.
Yeah. The Firefly franchise, and this is one of the few times where we're going to put a B movie with the franchise.
Yeah, that's true.
It qualifies for being a B movie because it was just meeting the niche fandom that the series watchers wanted. So this movie is fantastic. If you can watch it on your own by itself, but if you watch the series, then watch this movie.
It's a nice little end cap to the whole franchise.
Yeah, and it did really. They did a really good job with what they did for telling the story.
I think so. And it was a hard one to watch. I mean, if you were a fan of Firefly and then you watch Serenity, you know, I'm gonna tell you, spoiler alert, your heart's gonna be broken. This is like the Game of Thrones of B sci-fi.
Yeah, but the thing is, what makes it great is it wasn't a very expensive movie. It wasn't over the top, having to pay crazy actor prices. But they delivered.
The actors wanted to see it happen.
Yeah, they delivered on this movie.
Yeah, I mean, by that point...
It was like a labor of love.
Yeah, this was important to all of them. And, you know, there's a couple of actors in there who have gone off and done some other big stuff ever since then.
Heck yes.
So, I mean... And once again, this is a Joss Whedon film. Joss Whedon does know how to direct a good movie.
He can do a film or two.
So, I mean, you need to see Serenity. Now, this one was much easier for us to classify as a B-flick.
This is King Ding-a-ling of B-flick movies.
Yes.
And I have to admit, I like this movie. It's terrible.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably one of the worst sci-fi movies of all time.
Yeah. Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers. I mean, come on, man. You're fighting all these bugs. The one-liners in this are horrible.
They have the shtick, I should say, of the the commercial, the hard commercials in it. You know, promoting.
Dang, about slipped on there. Okay.
What was I saying? I think
hard commercials.
I think on hard commercials. You know, the whole thing is riddled with campiness.
Yeah, and I mean, think about it. I mean, when the big bug comes up and sucks that guy's brain.
Yeah, and you have Doogie Howser as one of the smart and very, influential,
Or they go get tattoos. And the guy's tattoos like,
Crispin, what's his, his name? Whatever. He's in it. It's got, there's some famous people in it. Not Jeremy, but Michael, Ironside? No, wait. Help me out with this.
No, it's not Michael Ironside. I know who you're talking about. I'm sitting here thinking about, what's his name from Tulsa? Gary Busey's son's in it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, man, this is a bad movie. And they made a part 2.
Yeah, no, I don't think that exists.
I think I've seen it once, but it's not any better. Okay, so our next movie. It's just as bad.
Okay.
And all I can say to that is, I am the law.
What we're talking about is the classic, the lovely Judge Dredd.
Judge Dredd. Now, oh my gosh, dude, this movie is so bad. And it's still fun to watch, but it's just so bad.
It's so bad. The thing that is like, I feel like it was a good movie. They just missed something to make it a good movie.
The whole damn movie.
Like I said, if they had just gotten that one part right.
The whole part. I mean, come on. Other than the one lines with Stallone. I mean, you have, what's his name? Rob Schneider in it.
Rob Schneider.
You can do it,
Yeah, that guy.
And then the villains in it are like, remember the hillbilly villains?
Yeah, of course. Can you not remember the
Hey, Paul.
Hey, Paul, he got a pretty man. Yeah, that was not in that movie.
It is too in that movie. But you should still see it because it reminds you of the 90s campiness of sci-fi.
Yes.
It's somewhere around 90 to 95 before Matrix.
Yes.
Sci-fi was going a direction of, what in the world are you guys thinking?
For the next episode of What the Science,
this would definitely belong in there.
Definitely.
Okay, so the last one, the one that we felt like if we didn't list it, it's another one that's near and dear to our hearts.
Yes.
There's so many one-liners in it, it's ridiculous.
And the thing is this is a B movie. It is a B movie.
I guess so. I mean, I think you have to be right. I know a ton of people have seen it, but...
you love Rick Moranis.
Who doesn't love Rick Moranis?
You love Mel Brooks.
Who doesn't love Mel Brooks?
I mean, we're talking...
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs.
I mean, come on. Dark Helmet.
Yeah. This is one of those movies that it crosses the line repeatedly.
Oh, over and over and over. I mean,
when you got Joan Rivers actually acting...
Joan Rivers as an android. Can we talk?
You know what? I'll be honest. I hate this movie.
No.
As much as I love this movie.
No.
That's
I think your Schwartz is not as big as mine.
That's what I'm getting at. It's like, I watched this movie, I've watched it, and then I'm like, God, this is just a shit movie.
No.
But then you go back and you rewatch it.
It's like Robin Hood Men in Tights. You're going to keep watching the movie.
Yes. It is a train wreck. You have to watch it.
That's called Mel. I mean, that's Mel Brooks right there.
Yeah.
It's a train wreck waiting to happen, and you get to enjoy it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is you repeatedly are laughing. It's entertainment.
Think about it this way. What movie could possibly get the guy that was in the original Aliens film where the alien jumps out of his chest to show up and do it again? But in this film, and he's like, oh no, not again. And then it does like this whole Warner Brothers from
Hello, my honey.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey.
Yeah, right.
I mean, come on, man. It's Spaceballs. Okay, so you know what? Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. And please be sure to
like, subscribe.
All that jazz.
You know what to do. Get squanchy with us.
That's squanchy. So, you know what? In the meantime, you guys continue to be geeky, and we'll see you next week